All right, welcome. Today, we are officially becoming architectural detectives. You know, every building out there is speaking a secret language, one written in stone, steel, and glass. And together, we are going to learn how to read the blueprints of history itself. So, let's get into it.
Have you ever walked down a street, looked up at some old building, and just got this feeling that it has a story to tell? A purpose, locked away inside its design? Well, today we're handing you the key. We are going to unlock those very secrets.
And that brings us to our first big idea, a language in stone. Because really, that's what this is all about. See, architecture isn't just about putting up walls for shelter. Nope, it's a living, breathing form of communication. Every single building is a society's way of telling its own story, carving its identity right into the landscape for all of us to see.
So, what do we actually mean when we say architectural style? It's so much more than just how a building looks. Think of it like a fingerprint for a specific moment in time. It literally encodes the values, the beliefs, and, crucially, the technological skills of the people who built it. It's history that you can reach out and touch.
Okay, so to understand this language, we have to start at the beginning, right? We've got to learn its foundational grammar. And for Western architecture, that journey really kicks off with the two titans, the classical and medieval periods.
And what's just amazing is how this classical DNA is, well, it's everywhere. The ancient Greeks and Romans gave us this incredible language of order, balance, and harmony, and you can see it in all those different columns they used. Once you learn to spot it, you'll start seeing echoes of ancient Rome and Greece in banks, government buildings, and museums all over the world. Seriously. Now, as we move into the Middle Ages, the story evolves. And here, we see this fascinating split. On one hand, you've got Romanesque architecture. It feels heavy, grounded, almost defensive with its super thick walls and rounded arches. It's like a fortress. But then, something changes. Gothic architecture just bursts onto the scene, and suddenly, everything starts reaching for the heavens. And this right here is the key. The pointed arch wasn't just a stylistic choice. It was a technological revolution. It allowed builders to distribute weight in a completely new way, which meant they could build higher and pierce the walls with these massive, gorgeous stained glass windows. That one innovation is exactly why Gothic cathedrals feel so tall, so light, and so divine inside.
Naturally, as society shifted, so did its buildings. Moving forward in time, we get to see how brand new ideas and, importantly, new materials led to some incredibly bold architectural statements.
Okay, just look at this evolution. First, the Renaissance rediscovers that classical harmony we were just talking about, focusing on perfect human-scaled proportions. Then, Baroque comes along and is basically like, let's add some drama. It's all about movement, emotion, and just rich, opulent detail. And then, bam! The Industrial Revolution changes the whole game, giving architects new toys to play with, like iron and glass. This led to structures that nobody could have even dreamed of before.
And all of that leads us right to the 20th century, which saw maybe the most radical departure from history yet. Architects basically decided it was time to wipe the slate clean and invent a totally new style for a new, modern world.
So, what was the big idea? Well, the modernists pretty much declared war on decoration. They stripped away every single historical ornament, arguing that a building's true beauty should come directly from its function. For them, beauty wasn't in carved details, it was in clean lines and honest materials. Less is more wasn't just a slogan, it was a full-blown revolution.
But, for every action, there's a reaction. After a few decades of those super strict modernist rules, some architects just started to rebel. And that rebellion was postmodernism. It was playful, it was witty, and it was not afraid to borrow from history again, sometimes mixing styles in a way that was complex, colorful, and sometimes even a little bit funny.
All right, we have just covered centuries of history. Now, let's put it all together. It's time to assemble all these clues into a practical tool you can actually use to read any building you see. This is your decoder ring.
So here's how you do it. This is your 4-step decoder method. First, just look at the overall shape. Is it symmetrical and balanced, or is it complex and dramatic? Second, zoom in on the details, like the windows and the roofline. Are the arches rounded or pointed? Is the roof flat or is it steeply pitched? Third, what's it made of? Are we talking traditional stone and brick or modern steel and glass? And finally, step 4, spot the decorative elements, or the lack of them. This simple process will give you so many clues.
And hey, here's one last expert tip for you.
Don't get frustrated if a building doesn't fit neatly into one single box. Styles traveled, architects got inspired, and features were constantly being mixed and matched. Honestly, these hybrid buildings tell some of the most interesting stories of all, reflecting a totally unique blend of time and place.
So, the next time you're out for a walk, I want you to look up. Use your new Decoder Ring. Ask yourself, what story is that building trying to tell me? Because now you know how to listen. What secrets are just waiting to be revealed right there in your own neighborhood?